This is Winging It, the somewhat whimsical, certainly worrying, decidedly wonky, seldom weighty, endlessly well-intentioned, and wildly witty show about music where one knows what's coming and the other doesn't. And this show happens in between both proper to ensure you can spend a fuck ton, an outrageous amount of time with us each week. So this time, what is it that we are going to talk about? Well, we've talked about things of this ilk in the past, but this time we're going to be talking about Best of Rock, the 10 most embarrassing moments. Now, this is from vintagerock.com, and we appreciate your assistance, Vintage Rock. Now, I want to understand from you on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being that would be super fucking embarrassing for you. Were you a rock star? And then 1 would be like, it's not embarrassing at all. I'm totally in. So let's talk about a few of these. Are you down?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that you chose that topic because that's one of the things that I would always tell you that I didn't follow. It's like superstar celebrity love lives and shit like that is embarrassing stories, or even people's personal embarrassing stories. But there could be great musically embarrassing stories. I just hope it's not, they shit their pants on stage or something like that. I don't really want, like A Star Is Born. I hope it's not that. But yeah, great topic.
It could be.
Could be. Oh yeah, no, I know there are some cringy
I don't know.
ones. I'm
Actually,
totally
I haven't
down.
read it all.
The things I will do for the people, for the
things
for
I
the
will do
flock.
for the people.
Yeah, well, me too, for the flock. We can talk about that embarrassing stuff if you want.
All right, thank you. All right, so
Great
the
topic.
first is Aerosmith and Britney Spears performing together at Super Bowl. So the Backstreet Boys were there also, but seeing the Bad Boys of Boston mix it up with the Tart Pop Queen was one of the most emasculating moments in rock and roll. Back in the day, if a girl as hot as Britney Spears happened within even a yard of Steven Tyler, he would have wrapped a scarf around her and oops, did it again with her 1,000 different ways. Steven and Britney did their thing for the cheering football fans, while real rock and roll nuts, not to mention Aerosmith fans, looked on convinced that they were witnessing one of the sure signs of the apocalypse. Now, I have to agree 100%. This was a travesty. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know who did it. I don't know why they did it. And it was a fucking mistake. It's because she sings just like this, right? Yeah. So it doesn't even make sense. And you've got like a hard rockin', really truly talented vocalist up there with somebody who is mass produced, and that's all she really has going for her. And she has a killer body, I guess, and moves it. So I don't know. And I wanted to ask you on a scale from 1 to 10. So once we talk about this, I'm going to ask you to rate it. 1 being not very embarrassing, 10 being holy fucking God. Why would that happen?
I will give you a rating, but I will base it on speculation because, to my surprise, to my absolute shock, I have never seen this performance.
How?
Probably because the idea isn't very compelling.
It's abhorrent.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of hate and I've seen a lot of support for Lady Gaga and Metallica. That kicked ass.
That was badass.
I sought that out to look at. I wanted to see that.
Well, yeah, because she's crazy talented.
When I get any shit about Lady Gaga, I say, okay, do me a favor.
Oh, hell
watch
no.
this performance and watch the Oscars where she does the Sound of Music.
Oh, my God.
And tell me she's not.
But there's a million things. Anything that she's ever done you can watch. Even if you don't like the kind of music, you can't deny her absolute talent. That voice is fucking electric. And this is not real good. It's just not.
Exactly. There are songs that that under the name of Britney Spears that we like, that we rock to. That
I don't rock to it.
They don't. You know
I
what
pop
I mean.
to it.
They. I didn't mean to say that.
You know what it is? It's got a good beat and you can dance to it.
There are some songs that we love and that are fun by Britney, but they're not because of her or anything she does.
You're
You
right.
could get anybody in there and do that. It's because of the writing and the producing.
And they might even do it better.
Unlike Gaga, who's steering the whole thing,
Yeah.
and can sing rock along with Pink.
Oh, my God,
absolutely
yes.
kills rock.
Those two are probably Christina Aguilera is a different kind of music, but she's got a killer voice too.
Yeah. As she performed with the Stones. That
Yeah.
wasn't embarrassing at all.
No.
They pick a lot of these younger people like Jack White to work with and Lady Gaga.
See, they've got really good taste, though.
And Taylor. They did a song with Taylor.
Yeah, well,
and,
I get that.
And all of that shit works. There was one they did, Sheryl Crow. There was one that didn't work, and I'm not thinking of what it is at the moment. But anyway, about Aerosmith and Britney. Good Lord, I've got to see this train wreck, and it's probably what it is. So based upon the fact that she contributes nothing, she's fake as hell, and they're real. They're the realest shit ever. Or at least that's how they started.
Hell
anyway.
yeah.
I mean, they're the real deal, and she's like, I don't know. That whole idea, I will give that, as far as embarrassment, at least a 7.
Ooh, I give it a 10, but I've seen it. So wait till you see it. Get back to me. So number 2, are you ready for this one? The Led Zeppelin touring sans Robert Plant rumor. Have you heard this one?
Never. No. No. I've heard a million petitions for them to tour. Never this rumor.
All right. So there's a lot of really bad rumors going around, but this is one of the scariest ones in the past decade, at least. So John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, and Jason Bonham might tour the mighty Led Zeppelin without Robert Plant. I can't even.
I don't mean to chortle over here.
I mean, the jury's still out on what's going on with this one, but man, it gives you shivers just to think these guys are even contemplating it. So here's the thing. Tour as another band. Tour as a tribute if you need to. Tour as. I mean, I know there's already a Led Zepp again, but try something. Make it something else. But don't tour as Led Zeppelin without the key member, or one of the key members anyway, of Led Zeppelin. It's a travesty. Don't.
No. I say do it. I mean, if I could, I would go, but I mean, I'm sorry. Get somebody else, call it something else. Play Led Zeppelin songs. I don't care. If you call it Led Zeppelin, it's next level cringe. It's embarrassing.
Yes.
It's a 10 from me.
Yeah, same. I can't even go there. My brain can't go there.
And I must hand it to Robert Plant and Jimmy Page for never calling themselves Led Zeppelin, even though they're two very significant members. But
because it's not Led Zeppelin,
you can't.
They know that. They know you can't.
I don't mind them, but you know what? I don't mind them calling themselves Led Zeppelin with Jason Bonham. That was a Led Zeppelin reunion. But,
no, I get that.
Yeah, that's about the only case, because he's doing the exact things.
It's his.
And it's
the
his son.
I can't. I mean, come on.
And every other member is there. I mean,
How much closer can you get to Led Zeppelin without having
the greatest victory lap ever?
Absolutely.
Go ahead out and do these things. I can't picture them doing it for the life of me. I
don't think they should.
Insane. I don't even think they want to. I can picture John Paul Jones wanting to do that. I don't think so. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I mean, I don't believe that they're going to do it. The idea is fine as long as they don't call themselves Led Zeppelin, because they won't be Led Zeppelin.
So let me ask you this. This is controversial, potentially. So Rush is going back on tour without the amazing, incredible, just absolutely irreplaceable Neil Peart. So they're calling themselves Rush.
Right, yeah, and I've kind of been following this. I was going to say debacle, it's not, but I was following this thing, and I love to read the comments on this one. A lot of people really resist the idea, but of course I would remind them that Rush started without him in the first place. They did only one album, that's true, and he became, beyond significant, of course. He was their lyricist. God. I mean, he did, the arrangements, his drumming. But can the songs be replicated or duplicated? Perfectly sure, if you get the right drummer. But
can they call themselves
Rush? In this case, I'm going to lean towards yes. Yeah.
I think they can, because I believe they had the blessing of Neil Peart to go on without him. Mm-hmm. And even if they didn't, I feel like it's drastically different. Now, if you tried to have Rush, let's say, without, I guess for me, the vocals on those two bands are very, very, just like all the other instruments, though, but the vocalist is kind of the front of those bands too, right? It's something that you hear. I just can't imagine somebody else singing over Geddy Lee, even though I don't love Geddy Lee's voice. I still can't imagine somebody else. Can you call it Rush and not have him sing? Can you call it Rush and not have Neil Peart in it? I don't know. Strangely, I didn't have any misgivings about this.
No, me neither. And I don't think you could call it Rush without Geddy Lee, of course. And I don't think you also couldn't call it Rush without Alex Lifeson.
Agreed.
But I'm sorry, Neil. You're the greatest. But,
greatest ever.
It's still Rush. And I know who else is going to come up, and I call that the same band too. But go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Just checking to make sure. So interesting. Just interesting how it depends on the lineup change on whether or not they can call themselves the same band. But I also think it has to do with their canon, their lineage. I think it has to do with a lot of things. So it's interesting, though, that we feel the same on both of those.
Yeah.
All right. So this next one, the Who Carry On. How many members of a band have to leave, quit, or die before the remaining members of the band decide that it ain't that band anymore because the members have left, quit, or died? I do think that makes a lot of sense. So basically, it's kind of like Queen and Paul Rogers' Journey with Steve Perry sound-alikes, right? This one gets him where he lives because Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey lost Keith Moon many years ago and didn't give it up then. Now, with John, the Ox, Entwistle dead, they still carry on. And in almost every interview, Townsend claims to have only ever toured those years later because Entwistle needed the money. What's your excuse now, Pete?
Wow. Well, yeah, Mr. Townsend, half the time when you listen to him, he's the saltiest old dog alive. Okay,
He is.
and yet he seems very playful and fun on stage. But he's a gritty old bastard. He doesn't like much of anything, including Roger Daltrey.
No.
And I don't get into personal relationships and stories like that, but it's widely known that they never see each other
It's so
outside of
funny
the Who.
that
They don't even record in the same place.
It's so funny that you always qualify it. I don't get into that. You know what? It's everywhere, though, even if you don't get into it. And this fucking show is going to make you get into it.
All right, I quit. If you can't beat them, join them. All right. You're in showbiz now, kid.
I mean, come on.
It's our bread and butter. As
Yeah.
if we get any bread or butter for this.
I know, right? We just, this is a labor of love.
Labor of love for
So
the
I
for the
feel
flock,
like it's
you know.
kind of like the,
The really surprise. Well, I mean, all of the Who are irreplaceable in their way as to the what the band's concept is.
you're saying that Townsend and Daltrey, they don't even record in the same place. Is this kind of like the end of Hall & Oates where they walked on stage, they didn't talk, they walked off stage, you don't talk backstage, you don't stay even in the same hotel?
Yeah, well, that's actually it. They don't record in the same place. They never see each other out, and I wouldn't know this except for they're so upfront about it. That the only time they see each other is to rehearse and perform. And yet,
Oh, my God.
the real surprise here, every member of the Who, every member of the Who is so distinct as far as the original Who. I mean, Keith Moon played drums like nobody else, so you have to get a guy like Keith Moon to replace him, except they didn't. They got Kenny Jones of the Faces, Small Faces, and the Firm also. He was in the Firm, yeah. With Mr. Paul Rogers and Jimmy Page. So they got a legendary drummer, but he didn't play it like Moon. However, interesting, I follow The Who, and what the fans do accept them as The Who, and so do I, despite the extent, how integral John Entwistle's totally distinctive and unique bass playing was to the band. They still persisted, they just got somebody who could play like him. So is it still The Who when they write? Yes, because the writers are the same, except for we don't get any Entwistle songs this time. But he wasn't working with Townsend on most of the songs.
Yeah, but that would be like saying that can you go tour the Beatles without George Harrison? You can't.
No, that's true. That's true. Entwistle was a writing partner, a writing force in the band and a lead singer as well. But somehow, to me, this one becomes subjective. I accept them as The Who, despite the loss of such an influential member. The fans do, but what they're most upset about is the recent sacking of Zach Starkey. That's Ringo's son. He's been playing for The Who for 20 years now, at least. And the fans are shook as hell that he's been kicked out, and they're touring on their farewell tour because they don't have to ever see each other again, after this. But most of them still accept them as the Who, and so do I. So as far as embarrassment, I don't rate that really at all.
Well, the Who's just embarrassing to me in general. So I think it's embarrassing, again, because I do think there are too many people that are dead, too many people that were key that are gone. It's not one, it's not two, it's insane.
Right,
and they
but
just keep churning and burning through them. So, no, I really don't think so. And here's the good news. If they would have replaced Daltrey, then it would have been a better band. So at least we had good vocals, but that's not what happened.
Yeah, I know that's the thing with The Who for you.
No, there's a lot with, I don't
Yeah.
like their music.
Yeah.
I know that's not popular, but I don't. So I find it embarrassing because, like the gentleman who wrote this article, too many people have died for them to call themselves the Who
But
still.
do they still at least sound like The Who? Yes.
So does every tribute band. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they sound like the Who. They're not the Who. They are, again, like you said, tour, call yourself something else, play Who music. I don't care. Just you're not the Who anymore.
And they do actually tour
When-
separately and perform separately.
But when Entwistle died, you should not call yourselves the Who anymore.
that
That's how I feel.
that must have been a tough decision, but
No, I don't think it was tough for anyone. It's just tough for me to
maybe
swallow.
I'm sure I'm a little biased because it was my only chance to see them was in 2019 when long after Entwistle was gone, and so I thought maybe that was great.
Yeah, so I'm embarrassed for them. I think that's probably a 7, but I think overall, in general, the Who is a 10 in embarrassment. Oh, just in general. All right. So the Yes on the Mike Huckabee show. So here is the funny part. I literally, something that Bruce and I do, we love Yes, and we watch a lot of really old videos. I had never seen this before. I saw it. I am still cringing. It was that bad. So, all right. Hopefully passing beyond most everyone's notice, how many Huckabee viewers are prog rock fans anyway? Not many. The latest incarnation of Yes, sans Rick Wickman and John Anderson, stopped in on the ex-presidential hopeful's cable show to play Owner of a Lonely Heart. With Huckabee staff members, the Little Rockers standing in on guitar, Steve Howe was conspicuously absent. Alan White and Mike C. jawed a bit, and Huckabee called Chris Squire Chris McGuire, another sure sign of the apocalypse.
Oh,
So I'm gonna show you just a minute, because you're not gonna even.
this sounds like pain waiting to happen. I was making a face.
Your face was. It was on point for what you just had to witness.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying, okay, all right, you've proven your point. You know,
Stop it.
okay,
Oh,
I'll say
my
whatever you
God.
like. Just stop. Make it stop. Honestly, I mean, of course, we are both big Yes fans. Yes is
Yes.
an amazing band. Yes, he screwed. No, it's funny. He gets Chris Squire's name wrong only, but Huckabee himself is a bass player. He should revere Chris Squire. He should know everything about Chris Squire, in my humble opinion.
I'm
if
sorry.
he's a rocker.
Huckabee looked completely lost.
Oh
and
yeah,
confused.
well, he's not the only one. Him being lost with the rock band shouldn't be lost within itself, and yet somehow they sounded it.
It was
Everything seems to be
terrible.
off. Well, I mean, Yes is a very polarizing band because there's nothing left of them actually.
No.
They're all different people. Alan White wasn't the only drummer when he was still alive.
Yeah.
Chris Squire's long gone now.
No John
the singer-
Anderson.
The singers come and go. It's just not Anderson. Howe is the only thing really, and yet, strangely enough, I have an album. There's an album of theirs from 2011 that I heard with that Benoit guy that was in that horrible, horrible clip, and I listened to the instrumental version of it, and it's great. So because so they're still doing something right, but no, that clip as far as embarrassment, that one rates high.
That's
high,
like a
high,
12
high.
for me.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't-
up there. Whatever they'll allow me to get away with, it rates.
It was absolutely horrendous.
No reason to hold that against them. Of course, they're amazing, but that was.
That's
the
not
worst.
Yes, though. I don't.
That should
I don't,
be buried,
There's
you know.
no Yes anymore.
Well, no matter who that is, that was bad.
All right. So the next one is Emerson, Lake, and Palmer release In the Hot Seat.
Oh,
I hate to get down on my most favorite group, but really, when the boys released their last studio recording in 1994, the collective fan base, what there was left of us, groaned as loud as when Fonzie literally jumped that shark, proving that maybe Greg Lake was right about producing ALP records all along. These last bunch of tunes almost rival the first half of Love Beach for fan vitriol. I know almost every great rock band has one of these clinkers in their canon, but this one cuts me to the quick since I love these guys so much.
oh! Can I really weigh in on that one? I got first of all, the timing is positively uncanny. I just read a clip today on the news of Greg Lake when he was alive, of course. Saying that the records he produced went platinum and the ones he didn't. And that must be the case because nobody in the hot seat. And yet, that's 1994. And I swear, I tried to listen to it not more than a month ago. I said, you know what? I love these, just like he says. I love these guys.
Love them.
I have to give this record another try. And they do a cover on that record of Bob Dylan, The Man in the Long Black Coat. And it's a nice try. It's a great song, but let Dylan do it, and it totally works.
No.
And you would even think so.
No, I wouldn't.
But this
Is
record,
he
I
singing on
tried
it?
again, and yet that's 1994, right?
Does Bob Dylan sing on that?
He does sing it,
Yeah,
but
then I'm out.
but he doesn't sound like Bob Dylan.
No, I'm out.
But they tried, and yet that was 1994. They never made a studio album again after that. And now only Carl Palmer is left, and yet I saw somebody the other day online trying to sell tickets to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and I said, they're dead,
They're
man.
dead, man.
They died the same year, in fact, Emerson
bad
and Lake,
year.
it was a bad year. And this one was bad, too,
This
by
is
the
really
way.
bad.
Terrible year as far as losses in the music world and, entertainment in general. But as you get older, that's going to happen. But Carl Palmer is playing, basically has something rigged up similar to the Elvis thing with to tour as Emerson, Lake and Palmer or to, to tribute them, whatever.
No.
But yet 2 years before that, they put out Black Moon, and that was actually a pretty decent album. And they toured, and they made a video, and I saw them that year, the first time, and they were amazing. And how they went from that to In the Hot Seat in 2 years, I have no idea. It was terrible.
I'm just telling you, I don't understand, because it's a brilliant band, amazing. And maybe they just got stuck down somewhere low and somebody needs to bring them a ladder. I don't know, but it didn't work. And it was really bad. In the Hot Seat sucks ass. I'm so sorry. So anyway, very sad. So on a scale from 1 to 10 as far as embarrassment goes.
That's it's only like a 6, though. I mean, it's just an album of mediocre songs. I'm
going to say it's an 8 because it's a great, great band. It's just super, super embarrassing to me.
However, we big ELP fans can take comfort in the knowledge that their last performance together, 2010, headlining the High Voltage Festival in whatever that country is, Sweden or whatever, was brilliant. You can watch it online. It's really fantastic. I mean, they're old guys, but they're totally
right.
Kicking
But
ass.
That still doesn't.
But they're not playing
that
shit from.
Still sucks.
Yeah, well, they're not playing shit from the Hot Seat
In the
or
Hot
Love
Seat
Beach.
sucks ass. So we're talking about In the Hot Seat being a piece of shit, and it was a royal hot steaming piece of shit. Unfortunately,
I'm afraid it was.
All right, so this one, oh no. George Michael gets arrested in the bathroom. Now, we all know I'm a big George Michael fan, so let's see what they say here. Look, got to do what you got to do with whomever you got to do it with. I don't damn anything between consenting adults. Whatever lewd act the ex-Wham singer was accused of, and to this day nobody even really is sure what it was, couldn't he have done it in a place a little less public than the restrooms at Will Rogers Memorial Park in Beverly Hills? Sure, the guy's not Robert Plant or Slash, but his show-stopping vocal performance of Somebody to Love at the Freddie Mercury Memorial Concert proves he can be rock and roll whenever he wants to. Now, whoa. So, couple things.
I'm just hoping it's not you're not arguing he can't be rock and roll when he wants to. That I've got to hear.
First of all, I want to say that I can't imagine that there's not one rocker that's been around that hasn't done horrible shit in a bathroom. So I'm going to say that. This guy got caught. You may not have got caught having somebody suck you off in a bathroom, but I know it's happened.
I think the bathroom is actually several steps up higher on the ladder than some of the ones they actually did. So.
Agreed. So I'm like, you know what? I don't know why he made such a big deal about it, except that maybe George Michael wasn't out as out as he could have been. But, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. I guess it was because it was a gay act. It doesn't make any sense. But
no, that's the kind of stuff I don't want to hear. And I don't know. I don't know why something like that would be even
what kind of stuff don't you want to hear?
Well, wait. I mean... No, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that, should not affect him, really. I mean, you know,
yeah,
it's his business. I don't care. You know, that's what I mean.
I don't give a shit. You do what you need to do wherever you need to do it. I would rather not see it, but that's fine. The other thing that really bothers me is the guy's not Robert Plant or Slash. Okay, so here's the thing. He's not comparing himself to either of those. He's not those gentlemen. He was his own person. And he can be rock and roll, and he can be jazz, and he can be smooth, and he can be hard, and he can do all the things. So that underestimating thing, that clearly means to me that this guy has not listened to George Michael and has not taken in the performances. And if that's the only thing he's referencing, George has his entire repertoire that's his own, that he's the writer, producer, arranger, singer, performer. So fuck this guy.
That, and I was going to say exactly that. That's something that can never be discounted. Okay, the guy. Slash is great. Robert Plant's great.
Sure, absolutely.
They always collaborated with someone on songwriting, as far as I know.
Yeah.
You know. But I know for certain George Michael did not.
No.
He's a one-man show.
Absolutely
he's
brilliant.
He's the author of everything, and so that can't be discounted. And he could be whatever he wanted to. Faith that would have been rock and roll. We would have called that rock and roll. Like I said, a lot of the pop of today would have been called rock and roll back then, and Faith is a great example of that. And that's what he was going for.
Yeah,
and
so
Freedom
90, pretty damn rock.
He even says on the rock and roll TV, because that's how he saw himself. And pop, but I dug George Michael. I thought he was great. And,
he was amazing.
And I think that's his personal business, and I really don't give a shit. Yeah.
I say embarrassment. I want to say it's like a 2.
That's embarrassing, and they do a dramatic representation or recreation of Freddie Mercury's cocaine-fueled gay orgies.
Right.
Come on, man. George Michael was not putting on a show, or was not, he was just living his own life and everything, and wouldn't have. No, man.
Just give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
So I give that a 2.
Much ado about nothing.
So what did you give that? Where did you rate that scale from 1 to 10?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, maybe a 2. Yeah. Only because he got caught. Otherwise, do what you need to do.
And otherwise, because how hard would it have been to go someplace more private? You know?
Right. Well, I mean, but sometimes that's half the fun of it is
Well,
maybe you get caught.
and and of course, brevity is an issue.
Right,
Depending
sure.
upon how long you intend for it to be.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. There's all those things to consider, but why is that so bad when we've seen other rock stars and people act so much worse and do so much worse? But that he's is much maligned for this infraction of daring to masturbate in a public bathroom. It wasn't like he was standing in the middle with children around him, so I don't understand it.
Yeah, that's one of the least scandalous stories of rock history.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
I don't think it should have been on this list, but maybe this one should be. Are you ready? These are your boys.
Oh, yeah.
Kiss on The Tomorrow Show. This moment was so embarrassing that members of the band were visibly squirming. A fully made-up Kiss was interviewed by Snyder on Halloween night 1979, and Ace, the spaced Frehley, was blasted loud and laughing hysterically. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley were visibly pissed at their drunk guitarist. It's quite obvious if you watch the show. What makes it all more painful is that Snyder is attempting to be cool by going along with Ace and simply laughing as loud as he can at everything the guys say. This squirm-inducing 25 minutes of TV was so bad, Simmons said he later felt betrayed by his bandmate.
Wow. And you know what? I got to say, I know it's in vogue to hate on Gene and Paul, but
it certainly is.
They're right, though, honestly. I mean, they go on a show, and Ace, and I see, because Ace just passed away. That's one of the great losses of this year, 2025. Ace passed away. And God bless him, I loved him. I've seen him so many times. But, and, I loved him and everything. But I think he was wrong about this.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, okay, it was a lead guitarist in this case, or it's Ozzy Osbourne. These guys, they act so fucked up, they don't understand. They have a responsibility to their bandmates. And I think it was bad for Kiss. Everybody loves his laugh, or they say they do now. But a lot of people are taking his side in cases like that, where he was clearly being disruptive.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand it, almost being unable to contain their frustration.
Yeah.
As they're out there to do a job. They're out there to promote the band, And he's out there just, I don't know. I think he went too far. I mean, I love the guy, but I think he went too far with that.
Well, as somebody in a band, I would be incredibly pissed off if we
right?
had somebody.
So you're actually siding with Gene and Paul,
acting like a little bitch, or acting like a completely toasted idiot. You knew we had a job to do. You knew we were here to get it done, and you have made us look like a fucking idiot. And here's the thing. We know how important the brand is to Gene Simmons, so of course I was going to piss him off. But how disrespectful to your bandmates and to the show that you're on and to your fans that are dying to see you and hear from you to fuck it up like that by being all fucked up. I can't. So is it embarrassing? Of course it's embarrassing.
Of course it is, yeah.
I mean, I would give that probably an 8, and I would be a 20 pissed if I were anybody in that band.
I would understand too, and I know a lot of people, to me, I know we're the two most establishment squares in rock and roll and everything. But I'm telling you, if you think about it for a minute, you really shouldn't be on Ace's side there. I mean, they were right to be upset about that.
I would have been pissed.
That was a betrayal. Just Peter Criss did the same shit one time. They were on stage. He was mad because they were blocking him or something like that. And he deliberately slowed up and sped down the songs and ruined the gig.
So fucked up.
Absolutely horrible, unprofessional. Getting drunk is a little bit different. Maybe he was just being, he was too much bonhomie, he was just too effusive or whatever, effervescent. But he was disruptive, and I think he should have, there should have been one time only, and he never should have done it again, because they should have dressed him down about it.
I agree. So yeah, that's an 8 embarrassing, and I would have been livid. All right, so here's number 8. Queen on American Idol.
Oh, no, they made it?
Later rejecting some comments he made, claiming they were taken out of context, Brian May appeared on American Idol with Roger Taylor and Paul Rogers to help the singing hopefuls bolster their individual versions of We Will Rock You. Since AI represents arguably the bottom of the barrel of the music business these days, this really wasn't any place for Queen or what's left of them.
Wait a minute. You're telling me
so sad
that Brian May and Roger Taylor played instruments with a singer on American Idol. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it was bad.
I did not know that.
And I assume it was a really good payday, but I don't know. I don't know how much you'd have to pay me to do something like that. It feels like a Kiss move to me.
Well, we could also make it altruistic and say they're trying to. I mean, I know they were going to do the songs anyway, and you do hear classic rock songs in singer-only shows like that. But being on there personally probably goes a little step farther to promoting your band to another generation, and maybe they're trying to save them. Just like the lead singer of a Doors tribute band once said, "I want you to. This is educational. I want you to teach the other generation and save them from the shit that they're listening to." Maybe they were trying to do that. Of course, I'm putting a spin on it because I love them. But
no, they were not. I'm sure. If we look it up, I'm sure they were paid handsomely for appearing.
Oh well, there's that.
And it was embarrassing, and the renditions were embarrassing, and either they're going to like them or they're not going to like the bands, but it should never have happened, and it made me really sad, as did the pairing of my beloved Paul Rodgers with Queen. It was a mismatch. So all of it is just upsetting. The whole thing is embarrassing, so that's probably a 9 embarrassing for me.
Well, Queen and Paul Rodgers never made any sense.
Never.
To me. No sense.
That's an
Queen and Adam
embarrassment
Lambert, I can totally buy.
So that's an embarrassment to me of like a 20, the Queen and Paul Rodgers, but Adam Lambert is the right choice.
No, I didn't see the performance, but it sounds like it would rate pretty highly.
Oh
so
my
let's
God.
say we're maybe talking an 8 now.
So embarrassing. All right, Elvis meets Nixon.
Huh.
The one item requested more than any other from the National Archives each year is a reproduction of the photograph of Elvis Presley and Richard M. Nixon shaking hands at the White House. Initiated after the king wrote a 6-page letter to the president, Elvis was not only hoping for an audience with the commander-in-chief, but suggested that he be made a federal agent at large in the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs. The irony, of course, is that Elvis would have been a perfect target for a federal drug enforcer, and in the famous oft-requested picture of the 1970 meeting, old Swivel Hips is quite obviously stoned.
Oh, shit. And in other breaking news, the Fox was hired to head the Hen House Security Bureau, No,
Oy
it's funny.
vey.
It reminds me of a song. Those every city's got their morning show with Joe Blow, Tom, and Dick.
Yes,
right.
right.
And they do, and a lot of them do parody songs. Well, I remember somebody, and I don't remember who the artist was, did a song called "Elvis Was a Narc."
Oh, shit.
And the lyric, I remember part of the lyric. It ties so perfectly into what you're saying. It was, "Elvis was a narc in Rhinestones After Dark. He did his best to keep Memphis drug free. He knew every pill he'd eat would be one less on the street. Elvis took them all for you and me." Brutal, I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't write it, folks.
So anyway, I think it's probably pretty embarrassing considering why he wrote the letter, considering what he was doing, and obviously also sadly considering how he died. So it's
Terrible.
pretty embarrassing. Again, it's like, oh, that's rich, Elvis. What the hell? So I'm going to give that a 6. An embarrassment.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty.
cringe.
That's pretty. That's about a fair rating. Yeah.
I think it's pretty cringe. So the last one. The Sex Pistols marked the Queen's Silver Jubilee on the Times. With the success of their single, God Save the Queen, the quintessential UK punk quartet passed by Westminster and the Houses of Parliament on a boat, intending to perform for stoned and soused guests, ending in arrests as their manager, Malcolm McLaren, hoped, even though he had secured a license for the performance cum cruise. This stunt was just another in a long line of Pistols' short, ill-fated rise, belittling a seminal album and career that might have been considered something truly rebellious if not for these stupid press-catching moments. Their first and only album, Nevermind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols, is still truly groundbreaking.
Yeah, there was a lot of the publicity sense. It's funny you mentioned Emerson Lake. It's funny we're talking about Emerson Lake and Palmer lately. They laughed at the Sex Pistols. They said they thought they were so aggressive and everything that was bullshit. They would be a candidate for an embarrassment discussion because they're currently touring without John Lydon, Johnny Rotten, which everybody's rolling their eyes who's in here now.
God.
And a lot of fans are not caring about that. We talked about that another time. I couldn't remember the guy's name. Frank Carter, I think it is. But come on, without Lydon, give me a break.
But see, here's the thing about this. To me, the Sex Pistols are kind of embarrassing in general. So I don't get it. Like you just said, I don't understand this. I don't see them as rebellious. I see them as a joke.
Yeah,
So
that's
they're
what John
embarrassing.
Lydon was saying. He said it was a game, it was a gag, it was a bit.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with that. I still love the Sex Pistols.
I don't.
And without John Lydon, forget it. Without Rotten, forget about it.
I mean, I agree.
Without Sid Vicious, nobody gives a shit because he wasn't on the. He wasn't on the original record anyway. The original bass player is back. They shouldn't be playing without John Lydon, who wrote the lyrics and sang.
So I feel like, is this more embarrassing than anything else they've ever done, including their music? No. So this is a 0 for me because they are embarrassing to me as on like a 15 level. So this is nothing. This is just part of their gag. They just
exactly.
Shtick.
And this is coming. We're coming from a non-fan, obviously, and a fan.
Yeah.
I consider it not embarrassing because that's what they were looking for. If you were around in the 70s, you'd probably understand. People were doing this shit on purpose.
Yeah, but it's so funny because you're a rule follower, so they're trying to do this just to piss people off. So I'm surprised it doesn't piss you off more.
I hate when people go around annoying people.
That's
I'm
what
the pranker's
they do.
worst enemy. But I'm saying it's not. I wish they wouldn't do it, of course, never. But I'm saying it's not like I personally am embarrassed for them, except for I'm a little upset that they did it with people.
Of course.
But, if
people laugh with them, that's one thing, but people aren't laughing.
Well, I'm such a purist about that. I really am. It's like I wouldn't even watch Borat because he fooled the people who was in the film.
That was really funny.
He was making a fool of those people, and I don't appreciate it.
It was really funny.
Yeah. That's why I don't like rock star stories.
Because they take themselves too seriously. You should see how seriously these people are taking themselves. And then they find themselves out, and then they're still taking themselves too seriously. What I like about it is it brought everyone down a notch. It's like, calm your shit down. Just calm it the fuck down. Because sometimes people get too haughty. They're up on their fucking high horse. Need to calm the fuck down.
Everybody but me. Okay. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
So anyway, so you're saying it's not embarrassing.
Well, they shouldn't be embarrassed because it was what they were looking for. It's like George Michael wasn't looking to be, a national, punchline or anything, or it made people passing judgment on him. They were looking for it. It's entirely different. So no, I don't count it embarrassing.
So that's it. That's his list, and it's interesting because during this, and this I think is inspiration for maybe a future show. But in here, we talked a lot about bands performing without what we consider to be key members. And some we were okay with, some we were not okay with. So that might be an interesting. So bands that are touring without the original lineup.
Or what do you call it? The classic lineup.
I think we
for
need
example,
to talk
Styx
about
without
that.
Dennis DeYoung, although he was the original lead singer as well.
I think
Styx
we
without
need to
Dennis
talk
DeYoung.
about
Yeah,
that stuff
I think
on
we've
another
just
show.
discovered another show.
Because that's some good shit, because it's so subjective, and there's some stuff we agree on, some we don't, but then why is some okay and some not? That's something to explore.
And there's all kinds of little things that go into making a decision like that. It's like, okay, they got a different lead singer, but what did they do? Records? Or something like, okay, AC/DC doesn't have their original lead singer either.
Right.
But nobody questions them because they've been doing this shit for 40 years. They put out
Exactly.
records, they toured. But there are bands out there who have not done that in a long time,
Yep.
and they're just out playing shows, to get old duffers like me to go out to without the lead singers. I think Styx is touring with that Dennis
I
DeYoung,
won't
which
do
is
that.
tough. Yeah,
I won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't go to those. I will not succumb to that. I also won't go to tribute shows, and I don't do that unless I go with
Unless
a
they're
friend.
dead.
Unless somebody takes me, then I'll go with them. But I'm always like this. I'm always doing the shaking my head, like, what are we doing?
I've dragged her to one, maybe
The fuck is
one or
this?
two.
All right, so now that we're done with that embarrassment, let's regain our dignity, shall we? And have you take us out with your cool and very confident.
Not sexy. Let's fly this coop.
This has been Winging It, a presentation of Birds of a Feather, on What the Flock Radio.